So we have some news.
I'm sweating. I'm gonna throw up. Hold on. I need a cheers to this. My heart is beating so fast. We did not prep this. We're like talking to friends and telling you.
Like the story, if someone were to tell us like, hey, how'd you get here? Like, oh, okay, well, let's start from the beginning.
And I said, stop it! Stop it right now!
So I guess we just say it.
Ready?
All right.
1, 2,
3.
Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Better Than Before. I am your host, Yami, and I have my lovely husband here because we've got some announcements to make. We've got our drinks. I am drinking a Recess. What flavor was this?
The
grapefruit?
Grapefruit tangerine or grapefruit?
Yeah, grapefruit tangerine, I think. But I always put it in a glass because it makes me feel fancy.
Classy.
Yeah, bougie, classy.
You know the pinky out is not a good thing, right?
I don't do that on purpose.
I know. It was like pinky out because you're fancy, but it's not true.
Why not? Wait, what are you drinking?
Oh, I'm drinking a Body Armor Dragon Fruit Berry.
This is not sponsored by any means, but
Dragon Fruit Berry.
Okay, all right. It's not sponsored, I said.
It's not. One day, maybe. No, the pinky out thing was like I read that it was like a weird, I think it was like a STI.
What?
In the olden days. And so it like made their pinkies like
STI, what does that mean?
Sexually transmitted, like
STD.
STD or
when
infection.
You said that.
Sexually transmitted infection.
Oh, when you said that, I was like, I thought you said STD, but I was like, what?
STI. Or maybe SD. I don't know if they're interchangeable. I'm not sure.
Okay, don't quote us on this, but
regardless, I'm pretty sure it was like a old in like, we're talking about like Versailles. Like, because they would all like kind of like sleep with each other, and like it was a sign of like, oh, the pinky was out because it was so like something happened.
Approach at your own risk type thing.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Speaking of,
but
I forgot my rings and I feel naked.
No. But everybody associated it with like being fancy because all of like the fancy people like had this issue.
Wow.
Again,
this issue.
I read this somewhere. Not sure if it's true, but I think it is.
That's funny.
But anyways, yeah, pinky out.
That's so funny. Okay, now I'm going to like stick my pinky to my glass the whole time. Anywho, today we are filming this on March 10th, right? Is that today's date?
Today's the 10th, all day.
March 10th. Yesterday, I had the pleasure, the honor, like top 5 as of right now. Hopefully they get better. But I was on a Create and Cultivate panel all about motherhood and business and making it all work. And the panel was amazing, but also being in that room was just amazing. Taz was
powerhouses.
There. Yeah, powerhouses.
Including you.
Well, thank you. If you saw or heard the previous podcast, I was talking about Ashley Graham and Iskra. And Iskra and I were actually on the same panel, so we chatted a little bit. But you guys, I don't fangirl over people. And I fangirled twice yesterday.
Yeah. Usually you're very even keeled when it comes to like
really
celebrities or people who are like in the public eye.
Yeah.
You're not just like, oh my goodness. Oh,
yeah.
like,
No, I'm not
like
that girl.
Whatever.
Which is fine if you are. That's no shade. I'm just not that girl. But yesterday I was that girl.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny how I should be talking about the panel and how like I loved it. But like I met Ashley Graham, and this girl was on my wall growing up. Okay. So I need you to like understand like the magnitude of this. She was the first size 16 model on Sports Illustrated. And if you know me, you know like the lore behind me and wanting to be in Sports Illustrated. And so can I just tell a story real fast?
Yeah.
So
we're recapping the weekend. Like what happened?
Yeah. But stay tuned because there's a ginormous life update at the end of this. But we want to kind of like ease you into it. You know what I mean? Can't give it all away.
Yeah, I'm sweating thinking about making this
I'm sweating too. Anyway, so we were whoever was speaking was in a green room, and I was like, okay, I was being a little bit like meticulous. What's the word I'm looking for? Like I was trying to plan when we would like cross paths because
you like knew they were going to be in an area at a certain time.
Yeah, she was speaking at a certain time. So I was like, okay, maybe she'll be in the green room 15, 20 minutes before that. And so I did have stuff in the green room, so I would go back and forth not only to see people, but I was waiting in the green room and I was like, fine, she's not coming. I'm done like trying to make something happen. And so I'm walking out and there are stairs that you have to like go down and then you have to like turn the corner, more stairs. And I'm going down the stairs and I have this like superpower that sometimes, not all the time, sometimes I know what's going to happen. And I'm like, I can bet you $1 million that I'm going to run into Ashley Graham right now. And once you have it, as I was coming down the stairs, she was coming up the stairs, we like crossed paths. I can't say that. Cross paths. And she said, "Ooh, beautiful dress," or something like that. And you guys, I'm so embarrassed. She said that. And I don't even know if I said thank you. I just said, I'm actually going to follow you because I want a picture with you. Oh my goodness.
So she proceeded to turn back.
So I literally just went zoop, and I turned around and I'm following her up the stairs. And she was so sweet. She gets to the top of the stairs and she was like, right here. And I was like, no, please go into the room, do your thing. Like we'll get it when we get it. I was so embarrassed. And so anyway, we go into the green room. She's doing her thing. She was filming some things. And I think like 10 minutes later, I was like, okay, I don't want to like be this girl and stalk her and whatever, just wait for her to finish. So I'm just going to go downstairs. If it's meant to be, it'll happen and whatever. So I'm walking out and I had to pass her to get out of the room. And you know, when someone's having a conversation or like when you're having a conversation and you want to talk to somebody else, but you don't want to stop the conversation and you kind of put your arm out and you're like, wait. She did that to me. And I was like, oh my God, she's touching me. No, I didn't say that. I was just like, what? Oh, she's like remembering that I wanted a picture, I guess. And so she looks at me and she's like, I know you. And I was like, Shirley, you do not know me. And she's like, no, I know you. And I was like, I don't think so. I was like, oh wait, I actually tagged you in a video this morning that I made. I did a Get Ready With Me. And she's like, oh, you did? I haven't seen it. But she's like, didn't you have like a fitness transformation recently? And I was like, what? She's like, yeah. And you have a daughter, right? And I was like, oh my God. She's like, and you have a husband, right? He likes to cook, or he's Hispanic. And I was like, well, he's Filipino, but he looks Hispanic. And she's like, no, but it's you. You have the red light and you journal and you do. And I was like, oh my God.
She does know who I am.
I was like, what? Like, she's telling me this. And I was like, I think I cursed too. I was like, what the F? And she's like, yeah, I doom scrolled you at 2 a.m. one day. Like, I saw your video. You came up on my For You page and I just like went to your profile and I just went like down the rabbit hole. And I was like, come again? And so she was just like, and we were chatting and it was just so fun. We took a picture and she was just so kind. And it's just so crazy that Ashley Graham doom scrolled me. Like, I know it's
2 a.m.
It's really not a big deal. Like, it's not that serious, but like, you just never know. Like, this is the girl that I looked up to because she was paving the way for curvy women like me. And she's, okay, it does mean something because doom scroll is like doom.
That's when you're in it and you're like mindlessly like boom, 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 boom.
Not
boom.
mindlessly, but like you just want to know more about, because that happens to me all the time. And it's so cool and refreshing to be like, she's just like us.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hold on. Kona, you want to go outside or something? Like,
no, we can't bring her outside because we're going to have to bring her back in.
Oh, right. Kona, can you lay down? Lay down. Sit.
Lay down. Nope. Sit. Lay down. Sit. Thank you. Okay.
So yeah, that was Ashley Graham. She was great. Super sweet. We got a selfie, super cute. And then I met Teffy and she was fantastic, super funny. I was laughing, crying the entire time she was on stage. It was so funny. I did have 2 girlfriends drive up from Houston to be in attendance and watch me on the panel, which was so sweet and so encouraging. And yeah, the panel as a whole was fantastic.
It was so good. You did awesome.
Thank you.
You did so good. It was great to see you up there and do your thing. And you were so, I think I said this yesterday, but like, you're succinct. You really talked about like what you were going through, because the panel was like motherhood and being an entrepreneur and just how you make everything work and the challenges that you faced and how you overcame them. And I think a lot of people were really impacted by it. So it was really cool.
I hope so. Thank you.
Hear you talk about your experience.
It was a lot of fun. I was very honored to be on that stage with all those amazing women. And again, Create and Cultivate, thank you so much for having me and allowing me to share my story. The event itself was fantastic. So many women, I think like something crazy, like 6,000 women RSVP'd. And 3,000 women came in and out of the event all day. So it was great.
Wow.
Okay.
All right. What else? So we have some news.
I'm sweating. I'm gonna throw up.
And yeah, we're not.
Hold on. I need like a.
Need a break. Okay.
I need like a shot
yeah,
or like
something.
a swig.
I need
Cheers.
some vodka in this.
Cheers to this. I wish this had vodka or something. Maybe it'll make this easier.
When in reality, like this isn't like
it's not a big deal.
That big of a deal, but
it is to us.
It is because it's been quite a journey.
Yeah,
I would say. So I guess
is beating so fast.
So I guess we just say it.
Okay, I do also want to say that we don't have any notes. Like we did not prep this. We're just flowing. We're like talking to friends and telling you.
Like the story. If someone were to tell us like, hey, how'd you get here? Yeah. Like, oh, okay. Well, let's start from the beginning. So,
well, my heart is beating so fast right now. Like, why am I so scared?
Can I hear it? Nope.
Okay, so should we just say it? What are we saying?
Yep.
Okay, ready?
All right.
1, 2,
3. We're pregnant.
Moving. What?
Just kidding. No, we are.
We're moving.
We are moving out of Houston.
We're leaving H-Town.
Wow.
Oh my God, I'm gonna cry. My nose is tingling already.
Yeah. It'll probably tingle a few more times telling this story. But yeah, after 7 years, it's been 7 years. We moved here to Houston February 2018. February 1st, I believe, was our first it was our move-in. And so this past February marks 7 years completed in Houston. And so it's just crazy to think that we're leaving.
Yeah.
We don't really know why.
Yeah.
And again, we don't have notes. We don't have like, oh, we're going to talk about this and this and this and this.
So,
but like, it's just been a crazy ride the past, I would say, really 4 months.
Yeah. So Taz and I have known that we didn't want to stay in Houston forever. It just didn't feel.
It's been a few years that we've known that.
Totally.
Probably 2-3 years.
Maybe not 3, because we bought the house 3 years ago.
Yeah. Well, I think we knew like we were going to buy the house, but we weren't going to stay in Houston because
That's
by that time we knew like, okay, it doesn't really offer everything we want long term. But for this season, honestly, buying our first house here, like cost of living here is just so cheap compared to everywhere else in the country.
Yeah.
And so we knew buying a house here, kind of getting established would be a good move, but we knew it wasn't going to be, we're settling here forever.
Yeah.
So I don't know exactly when we realized, okay, Houston's not it. I think it was probably that first summer when we walked out of the apartment. We were like, do we want to live here? And it was so hot and humid.
Okay, I want you to remember that sentence, by the way. Okay.
What? Hot and humid?
No, it was just so hot. We were like, but so with that said, we didn't know where we wanted to go.
Yeah.
We like joked around like, let's move to Europe. But like right now, that's probably just not in the cards, unfortunately. I mean, it could be, but I don't know. It just didn't happen. And so we were like, okay, what if we take next year to travel and visit different states? And I think on paper, or no, in theory, that sounds like a good idea, but like who has the time to travel to different states to figure out where you want to live? Right. Like, when you have your own business, when you have kids, and it's just like, I don't know if anybody else feels this pressure, but like I feel an immense pressure to figure out where to like lay down roots and where to like call home, especially with Luna now. And I'm already having like I feel so guilty about, I'm going to cry. Okay. Here we go. Oh, I don't want to.
Do you want me to say it?
No. So we've started like packing and doing things, and I was just packing and I asked Taz, I was like, oh, do you think Luna's gonna have a hard time adjusting? And he's like, no, I actually don't think so, which I actually don't think so either. But then I had the thought that like she'll never be able to come back to her room.
Yeah.
Why didn't we bring tissues? Am I using my dress yet? That she'll never be able to come back to her room. And I know everyone's gonna be like, she's not gonna remember it, blah, blah, blah. But like, that's like the thing, like she's not gonna remember it. And so I've just been like grieving. And I came to the realization that I'm not really grieving Houston. I'm grieving our life, like, in this home.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God. So much has happened here, and you guys have been a part of it. So you, like, know what we're grieving. Like, we got married in this house. We had our miscarriage in this house.
Mm-hmm. COVID. We spent 2 weeks straight on that couch right behind the camera.
Yep.
And it was miserable.
And
so many ups and downs and highs and lows.
Yeah.
In this house, and just so many memories. And like, I'm sure it would be the same if it was a different house, but it's just like the, just grieving this past season and stepping into the next season with faith. Like, it's going to be better.
Totally.
It's going to be better,
yes.
But it doesn't make it easier leaving this season, I don't think.
Yeah. And I also want to say, like, the good things too, like having Luna, her first steps, like, I mean, it's just been this home has been so wonderful. And like, in this, I also think, like, every time that we've moved, it's always been better. So, like, I'm not scared that it's going to be bad. It's almost like, are we making the right choice in leaving the house, which I think we are.
Yeah. Because we've gone back and forth between selling or renting, or do we hold on to the house? And I think ideally, yes, it'd be great if we could hold on to the house. I mean, having property is a great investment regardless. But there's a lot of things that come along with that. I think being a landlord right now in this season probably wouldn't be great. And we also thought about, is this a place we'd want to come back to? Like,
right.
We don't think we'd want to come back to Houston. So holding the house to possibly come back to it is not like something that's in our head either.
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, that's the big news.
Uh-huh.
We're moving. Oh.
Where are we moving to?
Wait.
Thanks for asking.
Nobody asked, but.
No.
No, we're moving in 3 weeks, by the way.
We are. So today's the 10th. Our lease starts on the 1st.
Yeah. Why do we do this to ourselves? Okay.
But if you know us, if you've been following us
Yeah.
since New York, you know this is how it happens.
This is how we roll.
The moving from New York to New Hampshire
happened in 2 weeks. Maybe.
Yep, literally 2 weeks. We were going to go home for quickly. We were going to go home for Thanksgiving, and we're like, why don't we just stay there?
Yeah.
So we packed up and left and didn't come back.
Yeah.
From moving from New Hampshire to Houston was 2 weeks.
Another 2 weeks.
From the time we decided.
So we're playing the long game now. It's been
it's going to be 4 weeks. So from moving, it was from the time we decided to the time we moved in was 2 weeks.
And I might add, we drove down twice from New Hampshire. So we drove down with one car, left it here, flew back, and then drove back down within the week to move in. And so we've done crazy things, and this is on brand for us. But it does make it a little harder when you have a full-fledged business or two businesses, dogs, a child. You know, it's a lot, and we've accumulated more things, obviously.
Yeah. So we are moving to Phoenix.
Wait, I'm gonna say it.
Okay. Well, I'm not gonna cut this. This is just gonna go up. Why don't I get to say it? All right, you want to say it again?
My socials.
All right, act like you didn't hear that.
Act
Ready?
like you didn't hear it. We're moving to Phoenix.
Again, I was talking over.
We're moving to Phoenix.
Wow. All right,
you guys.
Phoenix, Arizona. What?
Listen.
I'm sure the first question people ask are like, why? We're going to say, we don't know.
No, I'm going to tell you why. Well, we don't know,
like,
but so here's the story. This is a story all about how my life got twisted upside down, and I want to take a minute to sit right there and then tell you how to Prince of Bel Air, Phoenix. Okay, so a little backstory.
Yeah. So let me interject here. Like Yami said previously, like we knew Houston wasn't home, but we didn't know where we wanted to move. We had an idea. I will say we were thinking
of moving to Austin.
We were thinking about Austin because for business wise, like it's very young. It's very busy. For the film space, it's the same thing. We were and it's much more outdoors focused. Like Houston is so flat. So there's not much to do in terms of like outdoors hiking fun stuff. And it's also super super hot and humid in the summertime. So you can't go outside and do anything. So we were thinking Austin. Austin's a little less humid. Probably still as hot, but it's not as humid. We were also thinking Florida. We were tossing around the idea of Florida because she really wants to be by the beach.
I really do.
So we're in by when I say thinking about it, I say like, oh, we've kind of looked on Zillow a little bit to see what it's like. We hadn't really like looked into it really heavily.
Right.
So we were looking into like the Tampa, West Coast, kind of Gulf of America now.
Gulf of Mexico.
The Gulf of Mexico side. Tampa, St. Pete, that side. And we were also kind of looking at the West Palm and a little bit north from there. So kind of like Central Florida, but on the coast. And then all of a sudden out of nowhere, probably that Thanksgiving, right? Last year. It was when we went to Orlando. It was when we kind of started seeing, I think. It was right around that time.
What?
Where we started seeing signs and like...
Thanksgiving last year? You mean this past year?
Oh, yeah, last year.
Oh, I was like, what are you talking about?
Last year.
A little bit before Thanksgiving, yeah. So, okay, so here's a little bit of context. I have always been... Oh, I should say, I never thought that I could like hear from God, right? And right when Luna was born, like 4 months into it, I was going through what's the word I'm looking for? Like a midlife crisis, if you will, for like business wise.
Yeah.
And which is also very on brand for me. I'm always like, am I doing the right thing? Is this going to be able to support my family? Starting a podcast, like I'm doing so much. I'm like on the right path or whatever. And around the same time, I think I might have already shared this on the podcast though, but around the same time, there was like a TikTok going around like, oh, ask God for a word. Don't tell anybody this word. And if it reveals to you in whatever way, it means you're on the right, not on the right path, but like you got your word. And so I saw that and I was like, ooh, let's do it. And so I did one word if I was on the right path, and then the one word if I was on the wrong path. And I didn't tell anybody I was doing this. I didn't tell Taz. I didn't tell anybody. And I want it to be like a thing for me. And weeks go by and nothing happened. And one day I went to go visit Taz at work, and there was somebody that was there that I haven't spoken to in a long time. And we were just catching up, and she's like, oh, I saw you wanted to start a podcast. I follow this girl. She's a ballerina. And when she said that, my heart just dropped. It sank because that was the word that I was on the right path. And without making this super long, after that, I was like, okay, I see you. You gave me that word, and I'm going to trust that I'm on the right path. And ever since then, like, I am in my element. I am doing what I'm meant to be doing.
You're flourishing.
Flourishing. And so with that said, Taz and I are always talking about moving, like, but where. And
it was almost comical because we were like, oh, it was random. Like when we're getting ready for bed, it's like, where are we moving?
Yeah.
Where are we moving? It was like,
we're like making dinner. We're like, hey, where are we moving to?
Yeah.
Every time we would come back from a trip, every time without fail, we'd drive back home, like on the way home from the airport, we'd be like, okay, where are we moving to? Because this is not it. Mm-hmm. And so we just didn't know. And so one night I was like, okay, if it worked once, it can work again. And so again, I didn't tell Taz I was doing this. And I said, I just prayed. I was like, Lord, tell me where we need to move. And then I said, make it so abundantly clear that I cannot deny it.
And I was praying the same thing at the same time. It was just more like, all right, we're giving this process to you. Make it silly. Make it comical and so clear that we can't deny that it's like us just like looking for it or,
Should also mention that at this time I had never been to Phoenix. Mm-hmm. I don't have friends there. I don't have family there. I've never really cared to go to Arizona only because I didn't know anything about it.
Yeah.
But I should also say that last year, 2 years ago,
2023,
Taz went to Scottsdale for my brother's bachelor party. And he sent me a text when he landed. He's like, ooh, we should check out Scottsdale. It looks really cool. He sent it. That was a text. I said, sure. Mm-hmm. We never revisited.
Yep. It was just like we left it there, and we didn't really talk. When I got home, we didn't talk about it. It was just
we talked about his trip, but we didn't talk about like, oh,
when are we going to go?
Right.
It wasn't anything like that.
Right. It was just he just kind of mentioned it, and so I prayed that prayer. You guys, the next day, okay, Luna is at home because she's sick, and Blippi is on the TV because we're trying to survive. And if you know Blippi, you know he's always at different cities, mostly like up north, like west, north, whatever, northwest. And
Oregon, Washington, LA, California, kind of something.
Yeah. And so we're like, not watching TV. The TV is just kind of on. And all of a sudden we hear, today we are in Phoenix, Arizona. And Taz and I are like, what?
He's of all the time we've watched Blippi, he has never, ever been in Arizona outside of
Wait, I totally forgot one thing. Okay, so when I was doing neurofeedback, this was a couple weeks before I prayed. I was having one of those internal, like, I'm doing the right thing. I'm comparing myself to people in my industry, and the therapist that helps me with the neurofeedback was there. She's not my therapist, so I'm able to like talk to her and like catch up and stuff. And I was kind of just like telling her how I was feeling, how like I was seeing all these creators doing so amazing things, and I'm just like over here like trying. And she literally looked at me and she's like, you really need to stop, because you never know what you're doing here is going to inspire somebody in Phoenix. And I said, that is so random. Why did you say Phoenix? And she's like, I don't know. I just picked a city. And I was like, but why? And she's like, I don't know. Maybe it's the Holy Spirit talking through me. And I said, huh.
Okay.
Interesting.
Let's log that one away.
Yeah. And so then a couple of weeks, I prayed that prayer. The next day that happens. And Taz and I are like, that's probably like, whatever. Like, let's not. Mm-hmm. Okay, we noted it, but whatever. 2 seconds later, I'm on stories and I'm looking through stories. And
after the Blippi episode.
Right. One thing about me is I will always stop and read a job description. I do not know why. I love them. And so somebody was sharing a job description and I'm reading it, and there's like a warehouse, something, I don't know. And it said location, and it said Phoenix, Arizona. And I said, oh no.
Please stop. I take it back.
There's no beach. There's no beach. And I was like, babe, and I showed him the phone, and he's like, what? And that was that. I think that following week or something else, we talked to some old friends, and they tell us that they're planning a church in Phoenix, Arizona. And we're like, what? And then this is where it gets interesting, because Taz and I made a pact. Mm-hmm. And I'm telling you, I'm being so honest with you guys right now. Taz and I made a pact when we moved to Houston that we would never move for people again.
Well, yeah, after
the move to Houston. Yeah.
6 months or so.
Yeah. Because I had
we had some friends that kind of like convinced us to move here.
Yeah.
I would say. And so like we had visited a couple times and it was great. And it was like, oh, why not? We have nothing to lose. And so we ended up moving here, and then
ghosted. Yep. Like it was
friendship. Boom, done. And so like the reason I guess we moved here was because of people. And so we made a decision to
we'll never move for people ever again.
If it comes up like, oh, someone tries to convince us, or even says like, gives a potential reason for us to move somewhere, it's like, no, like we're not going to do that again. It has to be like another reason outside of that.
Totally.
So as soon as they told us,
we're like, oh God, no, I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing it. And so,
we were hesitant.
Is that Luna or is that Bleecker?
It sounds like Luna. 30-second timeout.
No, it's Bleecker.
Where is she?
I don't know. That's what I'm.
Okay. Timeout.
1 second. Sorry. Oh, they're not going to see this.
That sounds like Luna. Okay, we're back.
Okay, so then a couple days after that, I went to a coffee shop with a friend, and we're just chatting, whatever, blah, blah, blah. And I tell her this. I'm like, am I crazy? Because like, and she's like, yeah, you know what? Maybe just like don't move to Phoenix, because it could be like the red car theory. Like you want something and you see it everywhere. I'm like, yeah, sure. But I don't want to move to Phoenix.
What was the red car theory?
Like when
the
you
new
see
car theory,
or the new car, red
like
car
when
theory.
when you want to buy a car, and you start seeing that specific car everywhere.
Yeah. And she's like, maybe that's what it is. And I'm like, okay, sure, but I don't care to go to Phoenix. So we're talking or working, like an hour passes, and she's like, looks at my computer. She's like, oh, I used to have a Mac. And I was like, oh yeah, what happened? Blah, blah, blah. And we're talking about it. And she's like, yeah, my husband bought me this one right before we went to Phoenix. And as she said that out loud, she's like, oh, I see what's happening here. She's like, I didn't mean to do that. And I was like, see, what the heck? And so that happened. And then I think a week later, packing orders, right? we were packing the crew necks for Fit Club, the red ones, and Taz helped me pack the orders in the storage unit. He puts them in my car. I go drop them off at the post office, and I'm taking it out of my trunk, and it like the container like starts to fall. So I put my knee up to hold it up, and you guys, I kid you not, I look down, and all of the packages are face down except one right in the middle, and it says Phoenix, Arizona. I have a picture to prove it. Look, I'm getting chills talking about it because it's just so crazy. And I was like, you have got to be freaking kidding me. I sent it to Taz, and he's like, what the heck? And it was just insane. And then the next is the airport.
I think so. Yeah.
So
like at this point, it's like, okay, it's starting to get comical. It's starting to get really like outlandish that we're seeing all this stuff. And it just keeps happening.
But again, it starts to like mess with my head because I'm like, I'm not doing it. Like I'm not. It's like the Wolf of Wall Street.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving. I'm not effing leaving. And so, it's Thanksgiving at this point.
Mm-hmm.
Or Christmas.
Thanksgiving we were in Orlando. Christmas.
Oh, right. Yeah. Yep. So this is around Christmas time. I go pick up Taz's parents at the airport. On the way to the airport, at a red light, I open up Instagram. I know it's bad. Don't judge me.
At a red light, though?
Yeah, at a red light. And I started watching a video, like the first video that popped up on Instagram. And they were like, I don't know why we're doing this, but we just feel called to share. Like if you're going through a really big transition, like just trust God. And essentially they're moving, and they were just encouraging people to like, if you feel that urge, like to just take it. And I sent it to Taz, and I was like, what the heck is happening? Right. And so then I get to the airport, and I was picking up Taz's parents, and there was just so much traffic in arrivals. So I just texted him, and I was like, listen, meet me upstairs in departures. I'll be waiting. Take your time. Don't worry about it. And so I pull over. I'm just like parked in front of the thing, and windows are up, but I see this like mom pull over in front of me, and I like check who she's picking up, and it's like, I'm assuming it's her son, and I am nosy. So I put down the window a little bit to like hear, because I just love like seeing people at the airport, like either saying bye or saying hello. And I was like, oh, this is going to be so cute. And so I put the window down to listen to the mom, and she like bear hugs this kid, and he's like, oh, leave me alone, mom, you know? And I was like, boy, you better respect your mom. And so that happens. The window stays down. And then all of a sudden I hear over the intercom, it says, attention all passengers, this is your last call to Phoenix, Arizona. And I said, stop it right now. And I was just like, what the heck? Because if I wouldn't have been in departures, I wouldn't have heard it.
That's for departing passengers.
Yeah, if I hadn't had my window down, I wouldn't have heard it. And the reason I say that is because we went to the airport another time, and our windows were up, and you couldn't hear anything.
We heard that announcement. It was like super
muffled, and you couldn't hear anything. So it's just so crazy how that happened, and like everything had to happen the way it happened so that I could hear that. And what else? I feel like there was so much more.
But you can see where we're going with this.
Yeah, it was just like God was like, yeah. Oh, I think I prayed one more time, and something else happened like literally the next day, and I was like, okay, fine. What the heck?
Yeah.
And so that's why we went to Phoenix a couple weeks ago, which is another funny story. We went, Luna wasn't supposed to come with us. She was supposed to stay with my mom, but she got sick and couldn't take care of her. She got well enough to be alone, but she was not well enough to like chase a toddler around. So we brought Luna, and the trip didn't go
how we expected, because this was like a scouting trip for us. This was, okay, let's get used to the area, which means a lot of driving around. Let's maybe do some stuff that is very like Arizona-esque. So like
we get a feel for like,
it would have been great to go up to Sedona for like a day trip, just to see like the landscape that we're moving towards, but we didn't get a chance to do any of that.
No, and it was cold and rainy and gloomy, and it was just like, I was like, I don't want to move here. We saw some houses. There was one that we really liked, but it was a no-go.
Yep.
And so we came back, and I was like, maybe just like let's pause on this.
Pump the brakes a little bit.
Yeah, because I was just not feeling like, I was like, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
To be fully transparent. And so
we were striving a little bit, I think, in that little time period.
What do you mean striving?
Striving meaning like we were trying to find a house and we were trying to find all this
Oh,
stuff.
yes,
we
yes, yes.
Okay, let's make this happen. If God's telling us to go, like, let's go.
Right.
Because it's one thing for God to tell you, like, okay, this is where I want you to go. It's another thing, like, for him to tell you, like, go now.
Mm-hmm.
So balancing that and listening to what God is saying in that moment is, I think, so important, because we could have rushed into something, or we could have like compromised on something and totally missed out on the house we're going to be moving into now. So,
but hold on, let's finish. So we when we got home, we're like, let's pull the brakes a little bit. Let's stop. We were on Zillow 24/7. Like, it consumed
saved searches.
us.
It would tell us notifications when stuff popped up.
Yeah. And we're like, let's just stop a little bit. We actually we bought tickets, rented an Airbnb, and we're like, let's just go without Luna at the end of March, and let's go with some friends. All 4 of us booked tickets, booked Airbnbs, and let's just go a little bit slower. There's no rush. Like, we can do this. And so a week ago, I get a text from Taz, and he was like, that was a text with a Zillow link. And I open it, and I was like, oh, crap. I see this house, and I was like, what? So for reference, when we were looking at homes, it needs to be very specific. The app is my top priority. So I need to have a space to film. I do not want to rent studios. Like, I love having the studio in my home, so that if I need to or film a quick workout, I can do it. If I want to go live, I can do it. And it's just very, very comfortable. And so that was a priority. So when we're looking at homes, that's like the first thing that we're looking for. But if you know me, I love light. I've always wanted a home that has, like, my whole thing was like, I don't want to turn on lights during the day. That was what I wanted. And I can't do that in this house. And so anyway, I'm looking at these pictures, and it just gets better and better and better and better. And I see the space, and I was like, holy moly, this is it. And so it had just gone on, right? It just went on.
Yep.
And so I text the girl that's helping me, and I was like, hey, can we see this house? Or can you go see this house for us? And she's like, I can't today, but I can go tomorrow. And so she called us. We did a little FaceTime tour, and we put in an application without seeing the house. So we're moving into this house that we have never seen in person. So pray for us, please. But it's crazy. It's true what Taz said. Like, we could have missed this house because we were like, the other house is really cute, but like, this house is like what we want.
It has everything we need
and more. There are some pros to it, some cons to it. Like, I don't love the bathroom that we're going to be in. But again, it's a rental. We do have a pool, which is fun. We've never had a pool. And I told Taz it would be like a good, like, practice run to see if we want one for the long term.
Yeah.
During the weekend, Teffy, she like was talking about something about a pool. She's like, oh my God, I'm so Miami. But she was like doing like a metaphor, right? About like, it was like, what advice do you have for aspiring content creators? She's like, okay, think of like, who has a pool here? She's like, don't worry, I've only used it twice too. And it was just so funny because like, when you have a pool, you like barely use it in Miami. Anyway, so it has a pool, and so when we moved here, we wanted artificial grass in the back, and we just never got around to it. This one has artificial grass. It has the filming space that we're gonna have to do a little DIY to it. We gotta get
it up to snuff.
Totally. Yeah. On brand, you know?
Yeah. But it's one of the few houses that we found that there are a lot of homes with like a flex space or like an extra room, but maybe it had carpet, and we would inquire about the landlord. Hey, would you mind if we like change out the floors? Cause that's like that's a minimal expense. If it's like $1,000 to swap out the floors, like I can do it myself.
Yeah. And they were like 10 grand. I was like, what?
Wait, no. And so it was like, we were running into roadblocks in terms of finding something that would actually work. And this room has hard floor.
Not ideal, but we can.
It has tiles, so like you can put another floor like over it for the time being. Whereas like with carpet, you can't put anything over that because it's just not going to be stable. And so like just having this house literally fall into our laps.
Literally, because the way it happened, our realtor went Went to see the house. We're like, let's put an application. The next day, they're like, oh, can you send us pictures of your dogs? We sent that. Oh, can you send us your taxes? We sent that. The next day, you've been approved. We're like, wait, what? Mm-hmm. And so we signed the lease 2 days ago, and we're doing the thing.
Yep. Our house is listed. Our house is on the market now. And it's just, so yeah, basically when it comes back to like, why are you moving? Like
because God told us to.
Like we're at this point, we're just being obedient. Like we don't have, when I tell people like we're moving, it's like, oh, you moving for a job? Nope. No. Are you moving for family? No, we don't have family there. And it's just, we're just being obedient. And
I will say it's very scary.
Yeah.
Because again, I've never been to Phoenix except for this trip that we were there for 3 days. Mm-hmm. But one thing that does excite me is that everybody that I've spoken to is just like, oh my God, you're going to love it. Oh my God, you're going to love it. Oh my God, I love Scottsdale. Oh my God, I love Phoenix. It's going to be so great. Yeah. So I have yet to hear someone say anything negative except like the heat, right? Everyone knows like if you can handle heat, like you'll be fine. Mm-hmm. But apparently the heat is different there. It's dry. One thing that they have there that I had no idea was a thing was like misters. So I think it'll be fine.
Yeah. Apparently like the heat it's much hotter there. I guess it can hit like 110 in the summer.
But we've hit 117 here. So, yeah. And it was humid.
But yeah, so the humidity makes it feel so much hotter here. And you can't like sit out outdoors at a restaurant, but like in the shade in Phoenix when it's 110, like it's much more bearable.
Yeah. And they have the misters.
Yeah. So, I think the only thing that anybody's ever said was the heat. That's like awful. But if you've experienced Houston heat, I think you can deal with like desert heat. So, no, we're really excited because we're also looking for, something that I had brought up a couple of years ago when we thought about moving was like, I want to move someplace that has more like stuff to do outdoors.
Yeah.
And from what we've heard, Arizona is one of the most diverse landscapes in the whole
I have a saved folder on TikTok on Instagram now that I'm like, this is all everywhere I want to go in Arizona. It's just so beautiful. What was the waterfall with the like Gatorade blue water?
Right.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. So they have like mountains. So obviously we're going to be in Phoenix, and Flagstaff is 2 hours north, and mountains. And in the winter you can go skiing. And so just having the access to like really beautiful landscape during the summer, but then like, you can make a bit of a trip and go skiing. And then Mexico resorts are is a 4 hour drive.
And LA is 4 hours.
LA is 6 hours.
I don't know.
6 hours
something.
maybe?
Closer than here.
But like, yeah, Vegas is 4 hours.
That's what it is. Vegas is 4 hours.
LA is 6 hours. So it's just like things are within striking distance to make a bit of a road trip. And it's very, very diverse. So yeah.
Oh, we forgot to talk about the movie.
Oh, the movie.
So, okay, wait. Let's go back. This is funny. So I told my mom all of this, right? And she's like, okay, maybe we don't do that.
When did this happen? So this happened after my parents
Christmas.
left.
Yeah.
After my parents left, after the whole airport.
Hold on. Because my mom, so I told my mom about it, and she's like, yeah, but you're so like settled here. Like I would hate for you to take like 2 steps back. And I was like, okay, yeah, sure. But,
yeah.
And that was it, right? She was very apprehensive about it. So Taz's parents leave that night. We watch a movie. It was like the worst movie we have ever seen. And we're all talking about
everything from the storyline to the acting.
It was just so bad. And
the how it was shot. Yeah, it was just not good.
We were just like, okay, maybe let's just turn it off. Like we're all talking amongst ourselves. Like, do we want to keep watching?
Getting towards the end of the movie, we're like, how much better is this thing gonna get?
Right. And as we're talking, like the screen, it's this woman going up to a man. And she's like, and there's like boxes all over the place.
The moving like, truck and stuff.
Yeah. She was like, oh, you're heading out? And he's like, yeah, I'm headed to Scottsdale, Arizona. And so when we all heard that, I swear to you, my mom said one thing. She goes, well, I guess you're moving to Scottsdale.
I guess you're moving to Phoenix. I don't know. What did she say exactly? But yeah, it was just like we had to rewind it. We watched it again. We filmed it. It was just, and like, it's just comical. Yeah. Like at all the signs that we've been seeing.
And then we told his mom too when they were here, and she left that day or the day before, and she sent us a text. She's like, oh, I'm sitting to this woman. Guess where she's coming from or going to or something. And I was like, I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
And I started listing off a bunch of cities. Boston, Minneapolis, Tampa,
and she
Miami.
said, and all she said was, she said Phoenix is a great place to raise families or something.
Yeah.
And so it's it's encouraging, you know, and I'm excited. And of course, we're taking you guys with us because duh.
You have no choice.
But yeah, literally, nobody asked, but you're coming with us. But I'm so like, I wanted to just get it out now because I want to take you guys through it. I'm not one that likes to have secrets. I know it's like not a big deal. Like I could just talk about it, but like I want to share how I'm feeling in the moment and like the stress and the excitement. And
because we could go about this and not say anything and like get to Phoenix and be like, surprise, we're at Phoenix. But then like, all the stress that comes along with like selling the house and packing and we're going through all this stuff, and she could be stressed and be like, oh, I'm like really going through it.
And then I'll disappear from the internet. And then it's like, wait, is she pregnant? Yeah. No, I'm not pregnant. I'm just moving.
Yeah.
But anyway, I'm so excited. And it's going to be a fun chapter. We have, we do have friends there now. Yeah. Not a ton, but it'll be fun, and it's crazy how God is weaving this together because we never thought we'd live. Like
I'm not moving to work for the church or anything.
No.
I want to make that like super clear. Like we're not moving for that. They're a factor in it. Like obviously like this started happening before they told us this, and we were apprehensive when they told us, and we're just at the end of the day we're just being obedient. We're not we don't have a specific reason other than God's telling us to go.
And I know how like crazy that sounds, but I love it.
But at the end of the day, if I would rather be obedient and not know what's going to happen than do what I want to do and be outside of what God wants. And
yes, totally. And then also we all also think of like when I'm like in the grieving portion of it and I'm like in tears, I'm like, okay, do you want to stay here? No, I don't want to stay here. And so I think it's just part of the process. Like you're going to have to feel, I mean, I feel a lot of things 24/7, and in the crying, I was like, I don't want to feel anymore. I just want to just like do the thing. But again, I just want to like take you guys through that in real time because I want to take you in real time. I don't want to like lie about things and, but
be secretive. And
yeah. But so again, to wrap this up in a little bow, we're moving to Phoenix. We don't know the exact date yet. We're aiming to get there the first week of April. And we have the house. Right. That's all. We have a house. That's all we need.
Praying God sends a buyer for this house.
Also true because we're running out of time.
Yep. It'll happen though.
Yeah. But I think.
But that's it.
That's it, right? That's our big life update. Thank you guys for watching, listening. Yeah.
Coming along this journey with us.
It's about to get real. It's if anything, this is an adventure, and I'm always down for a good adventure. One thing about Taz and I, we're down for an adventure.
We are.
So we're gonna go. And
Super
Luna loves Arizona. Like she's like Arizona.
Yeah, the first we got there, and I don't even remember us saying Arizona.
No. The first day we get there, we go to bed. The next morning, she comes out of the room. She goes, Arizona. And I was like, what?
How do you know this word already?
Right.
So she's super excited.
Yeah.
Whether or not she understands it.
Right.
She is excited, and we're all excited.
Yeah. So cheers to this new journey. Let's do this. And if I cry along the way, excuse me, but I'm just grieving.
It's going to happen.
Yeah.
Happy tears.
Happy tears for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you guys. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. Hopefully podcasts stay consistent. That was one of my goals for the year. So I'm going to try really, really hard. But yeah, that's it. I'm like, I don't know how to end this now that we've like.
No. Like if you have any questions, leave them below.
Yeah.
Shoot them our way. Maybe we'll make like a follow-up episode to this.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what other questions we can get.
Yeah.
That we didn't really cover, but
I mean, moving in 3 weeks. If you have any tips, let us know.
Yeah. Seriously. But yeah, if you're in Phoenix, let us know.
Oh wait, hold on. We're driving there.
We're driving.
Yeah. So we have 3 cars and we're all driving to Phoenix.
Yeah. It's going to be like a little caravan.
Yeah.
Trekking across West Texas. Yeah. And I think we're going to go through New Mexico for a bit. And then
I don't know. I'm just following the leader. Arizona. Okay.
That's it.
Thank you guys so much. Hope you're excited for us in this new journey. Excited to take you guys with us. But that's all I have for now. We'll see you in the next one.
Later.
Love ya.